Kate, and we are Adventures Without a Roadmap. And today we're going to tell the story about when we bought our favorite car named Mario and how he got his name.
So it was a few years ago, and I was researching which kind of car that I wanted, and so I kind of decided I wanted a Honda Accord Sport. And the reason I wanted that car is just because it has like a bigger engine and more horsepower and all that kind of stuff. So if you're trying to pass somebody, you can get around them really quick. And so I didn't really want to buy from a dealership just because the price would be like probably a few more $1,000s. So I was trying to get like a pretty good deal, but also
not get scammed.
Yeah, and also get a car that like had pretty low mileage and all that kind of stuff. And so obviously I was researching on Craigslist and looking all around the country, and kind of like looking at the different prices and all that kind of stuff. And I've been looking at it for probably a month or so or longer. And I found this one ad in, is it Toledo?
Yeah, in Toledo, Ohio.
In Toledo, Ohio.
I thought he was crazy.
And so I just messaged the person, or I think they maybe listed a phone number. So I just like texted the person and asked him a bunch of questions about the car, and he got back to me. And I was really kind of weary, obviously, because I've never bought a car online before. And so like I said, I asked him tons of questions. I called him.
They texted over and over and over together.
And yeah, I texted him probably over a lot of times, and asked him questions about himself and all this kind of stuff. And the car ended up was this, and I guess you can tell more about that, but the car only had like 12,000 miles on it.
It's like a 2012.
It's a 2013 Honda Accord Sport, and it only had like 12,000 miles on it.
So it was basically brand new. It's crazy.
And
which is why I thought it was even more like, I was like even more suspicious at first.
And it was really
the price
like
is so low.
Weary about it, and wanted to make sure, like, because you have to really pay attention to see if the car's been in an accident before, and make sure you have a clean title and all that stuff. So obviously some people are kind of don't give you the VIN number, and so if they don't give you the VIN number, then you shouldn't buy the car, because yeah, you know that it's probably been in an accident, or it could be stolen, or who knows what. And so that's why I asked him a lot of questions, and he gave me the VIN number, and we looked it up, and it was clean. And the only like small little red flag on it is it had like a little scratch in the,
it has a dent.
The back right of
We'll
the car.
show you guys the dent. There's a little dent behind the handle, or behind the back door.
And so there was only one other person that was like kind of looking at the car, like competing against us for it, I guess. And the person decided they didn't want the car because of that little dent, and then they kind of later backtracked and really wanted the car.
They even tried to offer more than what he was asking afterwards, and the guy was loyal to us and told us no, that he had already committed to selling it to another couple.
And then so I was also like really like,
he even knocked out the price for us too for a little bit.
Yeah, I also got about $500 off the price as well for it. But I really wanted to make sure, like, before we drove there, that this was all gonna go down and happen, and that it was gonna be okay and work out all right. And so that's why I was like also messaging him a lot, because I didn't want to like get scammed or whatever.
Well, and we showed him proof of we were getting a rental car, so we also didn't want to have to like, and we were returning the rental car in Ohio, so we like showed him proof of our rental, so he knew that we were serious too, because we showed him like proof of our like rental plans, so he knew we were driving there and dropping it off.
The other thing too is that the guy's name was very
that's hard to say.
It was a foreign name, and so we were also kind of sketchy with that too. So we got his name because we had to get a money order before we left the town we were living in. And so
I researched
Kate did a bunch of research on him, and found out
he was like
all kinds of information on him before we went there.
Found out he was like 80 years old or something, and I was like, all right.
So before we left, we got a money order at the bank, and then we rented a car, and it was cheaper to rent a car just for like one day to rent a car, and then return it at the location in Toledo, because after we picked up our car, we were planning on making a trip out of it and driving to Florida, which we did. But we got the car, and when we were driving, they told us that they couldn't meet the day that we were originally scheduled for, so we drove the rental car to Toledo, and then we had to go to find another rental agency in Toledo, and we rented a car from this other rental agency at the same time, and we had two rental cars at the same time, and we had to return the other rental car from Wichita. We had to return that as soon as we could, because it was a lot more expensive per day since we were returning it to another location. And so we picked up another rental car, and because the guy couldn't meet with us the day that we first scheduled, I think. And so we rented the car, and then we had to return the other car. But since my name was on the rental agreement, we had on both of them, I had to drive it from the dealership. We had to switch out rental cars. And then since we weren't going to meet with the guy until the next day, we still also went to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, which is an amusement park. So we went and did that for a day.
And the whole time we were there at the amusement park, I'm Googling all day long how to not die when selling a car on Craigslist, and how to make sure you don't get killed in the parking lot. And I was also Googling how the license plate thing works, because we were nervous about the whole thing with tags and plates, because we had to drive it back to Kansas, and we were planning on driving it down to Florida and back, so we were really hoping it would work out, because we already had reservations in Florida. But so I spent the whole day super anxious, not sure how it was going to work out, how the whole DMV stuff works.
Yeah, so we went to the amusement park, and then we also had a baseball bat in the back of our car. Not that that's going to do a whole lot, but we had that for protection. And we weren't we ended up, since we were meeting the guy really early in the morning, we didn't I guess, and we got back late at night.
We decided not to make hotel reservations and save more money.
Yeah, so we slept in the Walmart parking lot, and then
James didn't sleep at all, because he had the money order in the car, and he was afraid we were going to get robbed at Walmart in the middle of the night. And
so the next day, rather than meeting him at his house or something like that, which would be really sketchy, we wanted the car to get checked out by a dealership, so we went to the Nissan dealership and met them there. And we had the car looked over by a mechanic, and so they did an inspection on the car.
I said it was
great.
And
while we were getting the inspection, but we drove our rental car to the bank to make sure the money order went through and all that kind of stuff. And we also had to get the title switched over to our name. And and we were meeting these guys, and he told us his whole life story, which Kate can
skipping all the fun parts.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got to the bank, and this other, the one guy that sold it to us was, I don't know, probably in his 60s.
And he was his friend. He had a business.
His son was the lawyer of the man whose car we were buying. So yeah, they were connected through their church or something. But yeah, so this little 80 or 90-year-old man gets out of the car, and he comes up to me, and the very first thing he says is he shakes my hand, and he's like, "Hi, I am Mario." And it was the cutest thing ever. He was this really, really happy old man named Mario with a very strong Greek accent. I can't do the Greek accent, but he was super adorable. And
yeah, he was like, "Hi, I'm Mario."
He goes,
and that was the first thing we heard from him. It was pretty funny.
We went into the bank, and
he was really cute and
we were doing the money stuff, and they were doing all the money exchange and everything, and signing the papers, and he was trusting his friend to do him right on the car, and was like, I'm getting my money right. And so he was all making sure he wanted to get his money, and then he's like, my son is his lawyer, or no, my lawyer is his son. He's like, if this goes wrong and he steals my money, how am I going to kill him if his son is my lawyer? He's like, how am I going to get away with killing him? And so he was super cute and funny. He was this huge jokester. We were laughing the whole time in the bank. The ladies probably figured we all knew each other, because they were all so friendly. So we got it all worked out, and then
he was also really hungry the whole time.
He kept complaining about wanting to eat.
Are we gonna go eat breakfast? When are we going? Because it was early in the morning.
He's like, he just took me out of my house, and I haven't eaten breakfast yet. He was obsessed with wanting to go eat. He really wanted to eat.
And then, the car was also his wife's car, so he was wanting to make sure the car went to a good home and stuff as well. And he was
so
telling
cute.
us all the information about the car, and
he said it was his second favorite baby next to his wife,
and the reason he was selling it is because his wife passed away a few years ago,
and he had a brand new nice car too.
Yeah,
and so
he was just now just needed extra money or just didn't
Or
need
he
the car.
yeah,
he didn't need the car anymore.
And so they didn't really care about how much they sold it for. I don't think there was really a cost thing at all, but I think they liked the idea of selling it to a young couple who was like starting their life adventure together, which I think is partly why they were so willing to sell it to us.
His lawyer friend was also like teasing or like showing Kate all the messages that I'd sent with him too.
He like scrolls through the phone. He's like, "Look at all this! I have pages and pages and pages of text messages from your fiance."
He's like, he really wanted to make sure this transaction was safe and all this stuff. And
yeah, he was like, "I have pages of messages from this guy."
So.
But then we got to the dealership and we were switching everything out of the car the whole time. Mario was like, I want to go eat.
Well, this is after we knew we were going to buy the car and it was like safe and everything.
They helped us transfer our stuff from one car to the other, and then Mario found the bat in the parking lot of the Nissan dealership and started playing softball in the parking lot. He's like, I'm going to play softball, and he was like swinging the bat around in the parking lot. We were all nervous about the title, and the guy and I can't remember what his name was. Was it Frank? I don't know. We're going to call him Frank. He decided he took us to the DMV. He had us follow us. We followed him to a DMV, and the first one we got to was really crowded. And so he was like, oh, there's another one. So we drove down the street to another DMV, and we were sitting inside, and him and James like took care of all the title stuff, signing the papers at the DMV. Like he walked us through every step of this thing. Like it was like he helped us get everything we needed, the tags, everything. And so we're like sitting there in the DMV, and I'm sitting next to Mario in the seat waiting for everything, and it's taking so long, and Mario just keeps talking about wanting to eat food, and he's hungry.
But he also wants to tell us like his whole life story. He was telling us all. So cool. In the middle
of the DMV, he's just like, he was telling us about how he was a professional international champion ping pong player. So he's this pro ping pong player that's or used to be this international ping pong champion.
And he played
world champion.
All different countries.
Yeah, so he played all over the place. And then he was really proud of, well, he's obsessed with math. And he was obsessed with the Pythagorean theorem, which was originated in Greece. And so he was telling us all about the Pythagorean theorem. And then his most proud accomplishment was that he is from the island of Lesbos in Greece. And so he kept saying, he was like, I'm from Lesbos. He's like, I'm a lesbian from the island of Lesbos. And he's yelling this in the DMV. This cute old man is just like, I'm a lesbian from Lesbos. And he was so proud of it. And like everyone in the DMV around us was just cracking up. I think he made everyone's day around us. It was so fun. He was having a blast. And so then we're sitting there just learning all these life stories from him. And they said, hey, just FYI, Mario is insisting that you guys go to breakfast with us after this, our treat. And so we're like, we just bought a car off Craigslist, and we're Googling yesterday how not to die, and now we are going out to breakfast with these random guys from Craigslist. And so they took us to their favorite Greek restaurant in town that had really good breakfast food. And so, I mean, I didn't eat any Greek food. That's how I stayed in my comfort zone and ate French toast, and James had something else like that.
I think the same thing.
And they bought us our breakfast, and they just like sat and told us. I mean, we didn't hardly get 5 words in the whole time. They were just like so excited to talk and tell stories.
Very excited to like sell the car to like because I also mentioned that we're like a young couple and we just were getting ready to get married and all this kind of stuff.
Starting our life together and our obsession with traveling. And
so they were really like happy to sell it to like a young couple that like needed it and was grateful for it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and they their family members, they both were like Frank, I think he talks to like one of his kids, he said, but I think some of his other kids are kind of estranged. And then I don't remember Mario's kids. Did Mario talk to his kids much anymore?
Not really.
I don't think either of their kids really like hung out or talked to them too much anymore, and so they just kind of seemed kind of lonely. And they both told us their whole life stories from Greece.
Yeah, they gave us like their business. The lawyer gave us his business card, and they're asking all these questions about like what kind of cool stuff there's to see in Kansas.
They want to know. All they knew about was
Dodge City and Fort Dodge.
Yeah,
because they saw it in Western movies.
Frank was the younger guy was obsessed with Western movies and the whole like the trains and the cowboys and stuff. And so he had always he had read books in Greece about Dodge City and Kansas, and so he was super curious about that. And then
they were like talking about going to visit Dodge City, Kansas, which is kind of funny. We're like, it's not the most exciting place.
It's not very exciting. And they're like, no, we've always dreamed about it because of the books we read as children about the Old West.
The other funny story about the restaurant when we were eating too is Mario like really loved this dessert, and he was like very excited to tell us about this dessert that we had to try it. So he ordered it for us.
He
And
never
was
told
like,
us what it was.
Yeah, he didn't tell us what it was, but he said it's like this amazing. And we were like thinking, it's a Greek restaurant. Maybe it's some like kind of random Greek dessert that we've never tried
He's
before.
like, you want one, right? You want me to order
And
you one? You want it? And we're like, we don't know what this is.
He ended up, it ended up being like an Oreo pie. So
Oreo
it was like a
Oreo
Oreo cream pie.
He
Yeah.
loves it.
It was
there.
really good, but it kind of tasted like worms in the dirt type stuff with like the pudding and pudding with like Oreos in it. But it was good. But it was just funny how excited
he was so
about
excited about it. He really wanted us to have it, and it was really cool too. Frank told us about how like when he lived in Greece, he like moved. He was from like a small island, and when he was like 12, he moved on his own to Athens to like work on these like on like a farm or something. Like he just kind of had this whole different life of like independence from when he was like 12 years old, and but yeah, they just told us all about their lives and about. I don't know. They were just like lonely, but it was the coolest experience I think like I had ever had. It was.
And with our experience of buying a car, like we were all prepared for like the worst to happen,
Oh,
and it ended up being like
literally Googling
this crazy situation that worked out like super well.
Yeah,
and
they were this
basically made
people.
friends of it, and they were just super nice, and we got to like listen to their whole life story and all this stuff. So it was really like a cool experience.
We talked at lunch for like we had like an hour and a half buffet.
We
lunch.
like met up with them probably at like 8 in the morning, and we didn't leave until like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we were with these guys for hours, which is crazy. I mean, it was so much fun though, and we ended up like we'll show the car, but we ended up getting I don't even know where I have a decal to put on the car of a Mario jumping over a mountain with a ping pong paddle to symbolize Mario that we're gonna put on the back window of the car.
And then just with that car as well, we did end up making it all the way to Florida with the car, and we had 3, I think, or 2 keys for it, and we ended up locking ourselves in the car when we were down there.
Locking ourselves out of the car.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
And we had to then get like AAA or get someone to lock us out of the car.
Yeah, we were at the beach, and it was the very first place we took the car, which is the beach in Florida.
And then later on,
or Alabama. Was
this
that Alabama?
summer, we got no, it was in Florida. But this summer we got robbed, and so our car key for Mario got stolen. So now we have one
key for Mario.
That's just kind of.
We named him Mario, and he's my favorite. He smells amazing. The car scent is still really, really good. But yeah, that's my favorite car.
And if you ever decide to buy a used car, definitely have a dealership inspect it before you buy it, just to make sure it's safe and make sure it's good to go and it's legal and not stolen, all that kind of stuff.
And it's a safer place to meet up too, because the guy knew we were a little bit more legit too when we wanted to meet him at the dealership. I think he felt safer with that too, and he knew that James was serious about it. And
my dad's also a car mechanic, so I like asked my dad a bunch of questions about the car as well, so he helped me a little bit. But
I mean,
I just wanted to make sure we didn't get scammed, and it ended up being really good, and the car still is running now, and
it was pretty cool. I mean,
it was just a cool experience.
I was so nervous the whole time. James was like, "We're gonna go to Ohio and take this rental car and go buy this car in Ohio," and I was like, "This is sketch."
And I was trying to tell Kate that I like had like really messaged this guy and talked to him, and we worked out the kinks, but we still had to plan kind of for the worst, and it ended up working out okay.
And I mean, I had spent it's a lesson to me, and my whole day I spent worrying about like the tags and everything, and then here was this guy that just literally like walks us through every step. He didn't like just kind of take the money and like leave us with this car to go figure it out on our own.
And I think it made Kate feel a little bit more comfortable too when the guy showed him all the messages, because there was it was like a huge book. He's like, this guy, he just like messaged me so much. And
I felt better too knowing when I met Mario. Mario had the strongest accent, but the stories he told us were just, because then we drove the same car to Tennessee, didn't we? We drove up to Tennessee again.
Yeah,
and saw my friend.
Well, we went to Bonnaroo in it one year. So
yeah, we did take it to Bonnaroo.
Which is why we took it to Tennessee.
No, we took it to Tennessee the first year we got it. We drove through the Rocky Mountain, or the.
Yeah, which was to Bonnaroo.
Oh, I guess it was.
Yeah, so definitely, like, if you ever decide to buy a car, like, online, definitely do your research on it. Definitely ask lots of questions like I did, and I guess be prepared for something to go wrong, but hopefully Yeah,
maybe
hopefully it
something
won't go
amazing
wrong.
will
So we
happen.
just got lucky that nothing did go wrong, but I know there's lots of horror stories out there as well.
And if we haven't, I
such as
tried
Michael's
messaging them.
recovery.
I tried messaging them a while back, and I never heard back from him. So I don't know if he changed his number or he.
Yeah, we kept in
If
contact
anyone
with him
ever
for a
knows,
while.
Frank and Mario from Toledo, Ohio, tell them we said hi and thank you for our amazing car that we love. And it was our favorite first car that we bought together as a couple, and so our first big purchase together as a couple. So it's pretty meaningful to us. I don't usually care about cars too much, but this one's my baby, my little Mario.
You definitely have a good story behind it. So
Yeah. So that's our story of how we got our Greek car Mario, and yeah, hope you enjoyed and hope you have good experiences if you ever buy a car off Craigslist. Maybe it's something as cool as ours. So bye, and we will see everyone next week or next time.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.
Alright, so here's our baby Mario that we drove to Ohio for. Here is his special little bin. You can see it looks like someone like opened the cover. I don't know. Not sure what happened, but it definitely is still worth getting. We never even got it fixed. I don't know. It has a story behind it. This is why we got cheaper and why the other couple passed it up. Thanks to this little bin. So, he smells really good.
It's a Honda Accord Sport.
He's still really pretty.
It still smells like a new car,
It
except
does.
my aunt drove it, so it has the floor's a little dirty. I drove it too, I guess. We have our Bonnaroo sticker from when we went to Bonnaroo
The car made it to
in
Bonnaroo.
2018.
We just never took the sticker off.
And then we have our other vehicle we bought that's called Wilson.
Hold on.
But yay, there's our car that we drove to Ohio for.
Mario.